guys, today, light people. So light people, enlightenment people of the Enlightenment tend to be, I don't know, let's just call them brainiacs. You're one of them. You're a light person. Today, they climbed Mount Everest. Look at this. I walked in and my wife's like, hey, look at these guys climbing this mountain. So there they go. Can you see them? Well, here, there's a mountain. Oh, it's Mount Everest. And look at these guys climbing.
Toward Camp 3, every climber on Mount Everest comes face to face with the cold, hard reality of death.
Look at that. Look at that.
Annabelle Bond pays respect to the mountain and the fallen.
Look.
I've just seen my first dead body.
I've seen my first dead body.
I'm not really enjoying that experience, as a matter of fact.
Look at that. Is that like really Lycra? It looks like, was that a lady dead body?
Couldn't come soon enough in my eyes.
Ooh, there it is again. There's the dead body. So this lady's climbing up a mountain, and in the show, she just passed a dead body. And
I can't help but I can see the...
for reasons that light people only can understand, because I'm thinking, who climbs that Mount Everest? Like, then you started asking questions, right? You started asking questions about, okay, is it just light people that climb Mount Everest? You're like, who else climbs Mount Everest? Clearly, it's not. Mount Everest is not like in Minnesota. I don't think I don't know. What's light people capital of the world? I don't know. Geneva, Switzerland. They got mountains, but they don't have the highest mountain. So what's with the white people? Look at this. The show continues. Look at this guy. Here's some dead people. Here's some dead brown people.
So many people can't understand why anyone would want to climb Mount Everest. But for elite mountaineers...
Wait, pause that. Look at that guy. Why doesn't he climb Mount Everest? He's one of the ones that can't understand. I'm one of the ones that can't understand, but I think it's because, am I losing my lightness? Because I'm going to prove something to you in the moments that we have left, because we only have 9, and they're counting down right now. Does that guy climb the mountain? No.
Life is by risking death.
It's very much a reality. As part of mountaineering. I don't want it to happen, but if it does happen, well, I can accept that risk exists. I don't think I'd like to end up here in a funeral.
It is that. If you could see the picture, if it happened, said the elite mountaineer, the light person, that's it right there. You can see the brown people, some guys on fire because they're burning them. Because that's a burial in that part of Tibet. And that is death. And that guy's like, if it happens, it happened. Well, you saw a dead person happen. And so that's part of it. And he says later, I might get left on the mountain, which is possible, I guess. So I try to figure out in this riff why I don't have a lot of time left. I'm trying to figure out, is it only light people? So here's a little spoiler alert. Yes is the answer. In a second, I'm going to tell you about who went to the highest mountain first, who went to the deepest ocean first, who went to the North Pole first, who went to the South Pole first, who went up to space and jumped out of I'm going to show you. Well, hold on. Part of the reason I think people do this, light people, maybe this is the answer. Here's an elite mountaineer.
Climbers, as a rule, especially elite high-altitude mountaineers, I don't know why, but they tend to be very socially challenged. My experience with most of them is that they're not the kind of people you want to hang out with a lot of the time. They're very self-consumed, very ego-driven, in some cases very socially inept because they spend all their times in the mountains not interacting with people.
Wait, look at that guy playing a flute. If you can see, if you look at the brown guy, he's playing the flute. That guy and his grandfather and his grandfather before him, and all the way back to all the grandfathers that guy ever had, none of them climbed the mountain. The elite mountaineers do, and they tend to be light people. Do you know some things? Can I share some things with you that are really interesting? Edmund Hillary was the first up. He also brought the first brown person up, Tenzing Norgay. Now, I'm only calling them brown people because it's light people and dark people. Okay, we can do that. What I'm trying to say is there's a distinction in this thing called the Enlightenment where people start to think differently. And one way they start to think is let's do crazy, you know what? So guess what? When the first light people started to show up, and I'm going to tell you something very interesting, all of the firsts, they're all atheists and agnostics. None of them claim Jesus. No matter how deep down in the water they go, it ain't for Jesus. Just saying. Just saying. So the climbing culture in Tibet is, no, they don't have one of those. You know why? Because climbing Mount Everest would be like climbing a god. That's right. Chomolungma. I didn't say that right. I'm not a worshiper of this god, but they were. Apparently you don't climb gods. You obey them, maybe. So guess what happened? The first Tibetans, all of them were like, get the hell out of here. They closed it on Sir Hilary Edmund. Edmund Hillary. He had to go a different direction, and they kept dying until finally the brown people let him climb. I don't have much time left. I have to hurry. What I'm trying to say is the summit was not offered until basically the global elite said, open that stuff because we have to find meaning somehow. We can't find meaning unless we can act like gods. So also, Raoul Amundsen. That's right. I'm reading it. I knew who he was, but I don't pronounce these names. Right? First one to the South Pole, Norwegian. Also one of the first people to the North Pole. Guess what? He and the other guy, the first guy in the North Pole, Alexander Kuzhinov. Both of them are atheists. One's a Soviet. I have a feeling they're the same. How about this one? The first guy to go a mile deep. What about that guy? That's Otis Barron. Guess what? He was a socialite from New York with billions of dollars. Guess what he believed in? Nothing. But his friend, William Beebe, did go with him a mile deep. Guess what he believed in? Nothing. Well, I should say, quote, he believed in the all wonder and the scientific understanding of the natural world. Isn't that romantic? He did reject all dogma, except the dogma of all wonder and scientific understanding. Apparently, that's the one you get to keep. So how about Jacques Picard? He went 7 miles deep. First one to do it. Guess what? Atheist. That's right. There's a pattern. Check out this guy. The first person to jump from space. I said that correctly. Watch. Notice his suit. It's blocking us from knowing if he's a brown guy. If you took a bet right now, would you bet, whoa, would you bet that guy who just jumped is a brown guy? Or a yellow guy? Or a red guy? What's your bet? Well, if you bet that it was a red guy, a yellow guy, a brown guy, you were wrong because it's that guy. Felix Baumgartner, God rest his soul. He's dead because he was doing some hang gliding where in a special way so he could be like God, and now he's dead. That's the guy in the suit. Somehow, though, I think you knew that. What am I trying to be here? Just mean? Is this a riff of meanness? One light person against other light people? No. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on because when I watch these people, I got 9 minutes and only a couple seconds left. It feels like there's a difference. The Enlightenment said something like become a god, and the old world was saying something like obey one. Life is hard, man. But if you know you're going to die and you're a god, I guess you climb mountains. I don't know. I would rather have some cha-cha on a corner bar in Tbilisi and toast with you and let God do the jumping. Love you.